Hello everyone. With the move to online teaching, a lot of teachers do rely on PowerPoint for their lecture slides and then creating voiceovers for those lecture slides so that they can share these as an online video for the students. With that comes a challenge because we're actually recording often from home. We don't have a proper studio in which we're going to be recording these voiceovers. And the challenge there is simply that you may have a lot of background noise around you, maybe coming through the window. You've got birds that sing, and you've got additional traffic noises potentially coming into the room and affecting the audio quality of your recordings. What I wanted to show you here quickly is how you can use noise filtering that's available through OBS for your PowerPoint voiceover recordings. So let me just show you quickly the impact that this has. So for example, right now, if we're going into OBS, I'm currently on a normal microphone. I'm using this microphone here, and it doesn't have any noise filters on it. So if there is traffic noise, I'm going to play some traffic noise on my mobile phone here right now. You can hear that in the background. Now, the moment I actually implement some noise filters, so let me switch to the noise filter here, the traffic noise is going to disappear. It's not quite gone, you still hear it while I'm talking, but overall the quality is a lot better. So now let's take a look how we actually make this work in PowerPoint. What we do is we, instead of connecting the microphone directly to PowerPoint, we connect the microphone through OBS. We create a scene in OBS, and in that scene we actually apply a filter to the microphone. We then share that microphone using NDI tools to PowerPoint. And in NDI tools, we've got the virtual input tool, and that basically makes the microphone from OBS now available as another microphone that we can select in PowerPoint. So let me show you how that works. So the first thing is you're gonna have to install OBS if you don't have that yet. You then install NDI tools, and you need to install the NDI plugin for OBS. Then start OBS, and in OBS you create a scene for your microphone. Let me show you how we create the scene for the microphone. So let's first create a scene here. Call it microphone. And we're now gonna add the audio input capture. And that's gonna be, let's just call it input. And I now need to select the microphone that I want to use. So let's select the microphone here, click OK. And this makes the microphone available in the scene. But now the next thing that we wanted to do is actually now apply a noise filter to that microphone. So what we do is we simply select the microphone, invoke the pop-up menu, and go into the filters. Now for those filters, we can now add, for example, a noise gate. So just give it a name or leave the default name. What I also like to do is a noise suppression filter and adding a compressor, for example. You can play around with the settings, but I find that typically the default settings work really well. If you find that your audio cuts out every now and then, you may have to take the suppression level down in the noise suppression filter a little bit, so, that it only cuts out lower noises instead of then your voice when you're talking not as loudly as you would normally do. So with that, we've got these filters applied. To make this microphone available in PowerPoint for recording, I first need to make sure that I've got the NDI plugin installed in OBS. So you should see an NDI output settings menu item under Tools. There you can enable the NDI output. You give it a name and say OK. And at that point, it actually makes this stream here within OBS available as an NDI output to other applications. For that to work in PowerPoint, we now still need to start the virtual input. So NDI's virtual input that we installed earlier. That becomes available down there in my taskbar. I can now select it with the secondary mouse button and change some settings. So as a source, I want to choose OBS, so my computer name, and then the source that I've just defined in OBS. And so the name that I've typed into the NDI settings there. So I make sure that that's selected. And I then can go into PowerPoint and hit the record slideshow button. And at that time, I can now select my microphone and I simply select my line from NDI. So that's my NDI audio. I select that as my microphone. If I wanted to also record video out of OBS, I could also select the NDI video as my webcam. And so the moment I do that, you will see it actually shows me what's in my OBS stream. But the same way, I can now start recording with that noise filter coming through OBS. So that's hopefully going to improve the audio quality for your audio recordings for voiceovers a little bit. So when you want to use your microphone with the noise filter in your PowerPoint recordings, what you do is you first start OBS, you then go to the scene that has the microphone with the voice filter in it. You then start your NDI virtual input, select your OBS output as the audio source for the virtual input. Once you've set that, that typically remains set, so you don't need to do that every time, but just double check that you've got the right setting applied. And then in PowerPoint, once you start PowerPoint, you simply then select your NDI audio source, and that then links basically to your microphone with the noise filter. Okay, hopefully that's been helpful. Wishing you all the best. Bye.